morning. This is a tarot reading by Matter Direct. Today's date is February 10th, which aligns Kabbalah as the kingdom. The zodiac signs represents Aquarius, which extends to February 19th. And this is a time of intellect, thinking, sometimes overthinking, sometimes underthinking. And today we're going to begin with just setting the table. What's here? We've got, on my left, we have quartz, seashell, tiger's eye, and amethyst. Cleansing the table with Palo Santo. And on the right, I have incense that began with pumpkin. And I'm going to be adding cedar. Palo Santo is a really nice smell. It's a very cleansing, aromatic, sorry. And I always like to start it and end it with the scent. Today we have two decks. One is the standard deck, and the other is a thought deck. I'm doing a 9-card reading from the standard deck, and one card pull to combine things around the Thoth symbolism. It's interesting during this time because between the differences of these two decks, there's an adjustment between strength on 8 and justice on 11. And this is an interesting time during the month because sometimes you can switch these dates and numbers together in some way to work for you in whatever capacity. So let's begin. Cards are cleansed. This is just going to be a general reading, nothing specific. I hope it benefits other people. You can always reach out if you would like a reading in some capacity that's personalized. This is meant to be some type of construction, abstract view for a collective view of people. We'll see where it goes. So, the first card represents you in this environment, or us together. The first card is the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is representative of a fiery, passionate, gallant figure moving towards some future. We've got Egypt in the background here, representing sands of time and some of the historic pieces behind some of that culture. We've got the wand as a representative of fire, and this person is moving into battle in some capacity with that fiery wand. And they're meant to be someone that has been given a torch in some way to represent their values and execute on these surroundings that they're encompassed in. And the surrounding card is the Two of Pentacles. Now, the Two of Pentacles is a card of kind of like someone is juggling a lot, juggling infinities. It's representative of the discs or pentacles, which represents Earth. And in this capacity, somebody's charging forward with their fiery sword or their wand. They're looking at the Two of Pentacles as a type of duality in the way that they justify or think about earthly involvements, whether it's business, things that are more stable, money, but always in the line with the fact that we're looking at sort of this very archaic Egyptian mentality that brings forward certain rituals. physical world and doing a lot more dreaming that might be upsetting them. So finding certain symbolism that might help, which now I'm going to pull 4 cards from the Oracle in the end. And this might be representative of some type of that, I guess, worry that's coming from the dream states. So sometimes I like to think about where the Oracle cards, or when I pull the Oracle cards, and it feels like this is a good time as a sort of a restart. Alright, so the next card is the long-term future, which is the moon, 18. Now the moon is always, sometimes, it's definitely indicative of some dark sides, a little bit of that chaos, more of that feminine energy. So the long-term future, there's possibilities of aggregating around this energy in sort of moon cycles. So be sure to look at the moon cycles. We just finished the first quarter of one and moving towards new directions in some capacity. Now, this long-term future as it relates to the moon could also be representative of, like I mentioned, a little bit of that dark side. There could be some corruption in there, but let's see what we have to leave behind us. Maybe this gives us some indication as to what we leave behind us in order to seek the moon. This is interesting too, because we've got fire, light, and we've got dark. It's the trump card that was pulled here. This is what we leave behind us. So the 5 of Pentacles is a card that represents some type of friendship, of worry, a little bit of injury, something that might not be serving us in some capacity. And Pentacles with the, it almost looks like a monastery or a church that's there. Could be representative of some type of dogmatism in some way that's not serving us in some capacity. But these 2 friendly figures here may not see eye to eye on things. So that's sort of how I read these cards. Now I'm going to pull or reveal the Oracle cards. Okay, interesting. So the Oracles always tell a story that gets woven by the interpreter of the Oracle. In the setting, that would be myself, and the querent would be the person on the other end. So 4 cards. I have the Empress here. I have Strength, trump card. I have the 8 of Pentacles, and I have that horse that we're seeing again, that Ace of Wands. So the way I kind of read this is that a person is gaining strength from, it could be a female figure as the Empress, the representation of the Universal Mother. As a person is hard at work with the 8 of Pentacles, they're working on their craft in some capacity. It may not be business, but it may be some niche function in some way in which they're architecting things on the horizon. And 8 is also representative of some kind of infinity, which is kind of interesting. And yeah, like I mentioned, we have this torch card here, this Ace of Wands, which is a very fiery thing. So whatever's been handed to us is now returning to us through these cards. So now I'm going to place them in the corners where I see fit as a representation for these worlds to converge. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the Empress card next to Dream State. With the moon here, I'm going to place the Strength card in the capacity. I'm going to place it up here. So we've got the Empress, the Mother, looking at sort of worry and dream, and the moon together. We've got the Strength card with these upset dreams, finding strength in them, and seeking sort of that juggling infinity attunement that one kind of looks at. I'm going to place it next to the moon there with the Five of Pentacles. Because I always think about eights and infinities as like almost timekeeping, and this person hard at work is almost creating these new types of clock rhythms in their environment, because the moon is sort of in the environmental realm, and celestial realm in relation to the earth, and finally the torch in relation to sort of this friendship that may not be working but also juggling infinities. It's always a trade-off between thinking about the decisions you make in life related to business, some of the friendships along the way that may be impeded, and I think these will kind of work out, and you can kind of look at them in this cross as well through the Knight of Wands. And now I'm going to pull a card from the Thought deck to make that a possible adjustment. This is kind of interesting because that Strength card, things are kind of cycled through that Strength card there on the diagonal to the 8, working on things. Sometimes you need adjustments. There's some justice there. Sometimes you just find strength in, it could be your surrounding ecology, whatever it may be, going for a walk, seeing a friend. But now for this card, which is the final card. This card seems pretty good. We've got the Star here, which is interesting because the Star is, it's like the symbol of hope, especially in certain realms. The Star is seen as someone that can give guidance in some way. We're all stars in some capacity, and this can, it's interesting because we've got the moon and the star here, related with the Knight of Wands in Egypt, gallant figure moving towards sort of history on Earth. The star is sort of that North Star, that joy of hope, and that's card number 17. So to conclude this reading, I'm going to use the Palo Santo again to represent cleansing energy. Find value in these cards however you see fit. Worked out in an interesting way today. Found some interesting dynamics from the cross, these axis diagonals. Thank you very much.